everybody, welcome back to Skyway Classics YouTube channel. We're now going for a ride in our 1966 Ford Mustang convertible. Of course, you know, a lot of Mustangs come on our lot, and of course each one of them is beautiful as it is. Going to the one we have here featuring that fine light blue exterior, even featuring a dark blue power top, and I will say again, it is a power top, not a manual top. But even so, looking at the other fine features, it does feature the appropriate style Mustang wheels, not the cheap hubcaps that used to fall off every 5 minutes when you made a turn, but also including that fine white layer BF Goodrich style tires. Even so, it has the fog lights on like a lot of Mustangs that didn't have that fine feature. Of course, you know, the earlier generation of the Mustang went from 64.5 to about 66. Of course, one of the ways to see the difference between a 65 and a 66 is the cluster, of course. 65 having that long cluster with the nice needle gauge, whereas the 66 had more of the rounder style gauges, which as we do move on to the inside, you will see that it doesn't have that cheap 3-speed, but a 5-speed manual transmission. So of course it's ready to handle the fine road, especially I-75, maybe even I-95 if you want to take your chances. But even so, matching the interior to the exterior, you see it has a blue combination on the inside, standardized bucket seats, along with the appropriate style cluster. Even so, looking at the dash, it almost looks like you're back in 66, with the appropriate Ford steering wheel, working horn. Even so, you'll see you have the appropriate style Ford AM radio, which of course a lot of times people want to put a Delco in. You can even have those radios upgraded if you have to know the right person. But even so, you even have your cup holders right here above the ashtray. Fine little touch indeed. But looking at it, it is a very simple vehicle. One of my favorite little tiny details about this vehicle is not only the fuzzy dice, giving me a lot of good luck to know that I won't break down on such a road like I-75 or 95, but the cute little compass on the dash. Because of course, during the time of 1966, you didn't have Waze, you didn't have Google Maps telling you to go the wrong direction. You had to rely on your brains and, more importantly, common knowledge. But even so, moving under the hood with a small block 289 motor, you will see it does have some upgraded valve covers, does have headers, does have power steering. Can't say the same for the brakes, but of course, you always want to keep a safe distance, especially in a car like this. Even so, now we're going through the gears, and you can hear how smooth and settling it is. The whole body isn't shaking. We got a good steady flow coming out the back to the dual exhaust, and especially the fun part, me getting on it just a little bit for the flying pleasure. But even so, now you can even notice how nice the wind is. It does include AC, but of course this time of year you just want to enjoy the breeze. Also being the fact that it is a convertible and does have vent windows, why do you really need AC when it's only going to draw power away from the motor? But as for now though, we are just going to get it turned around up on the lift. So if you have a moment, folks, please stay tuned with us to see the underneath.